All right, guys, so yesterday we learned all about expanding, right? Going from factored form to standard. Right? So today we're actually going to be looking at how to go from standard form to factored form. So we're going to be taking this format and putting it into brackets. But first, we're going to take a look at this. So, what are two numbers that can multiply together to give me 10? Well, we can multiply 2 and 5 together, right? That's going to give us 10. And what are two numbers that we can add together to give me 10? We can add 5 and 5 together. But do we have other options that can also give us 10? Well, when we multiply, we can also multiply 10 and 1 together. That's going to give us 10. And what are some other numbers that can add together to give me 10? Well, we can go, let's start with 1 plus 9. And 2 plus 8. And 3 plus 7. 4 plus 6. We can also do 10 plus 0. So we have a ton of options that can add together to give me 10. So what you guys have been given is, I do not know why these are upside down, but I have given you guys a multiplication table. Okay? So with your multiplication table, you're going to be able to find out, sorry, let me just double check that I have these. You're going to be able to find out what things add together or multiply together to give you a certain number. Okay, so you're going to need this for when we do factoring. So what we're going to do first is we're going to recall what we learned from yesterday. So when it comes to expanding, we take a look at our brackets, right? And we put our brackets, we label them 1 and 2. We put them x plus 5 on the top, x plus 7 on the side, and then we go and we do x times x for our first box, which gives us x squared. Then for our second box, we look beside it and it's x times 5 gives us 5x. And then our next box we do above it, which is x times 7, which is 7x. And then we do 5 times 7, which gives us 35. And then from here, we can take our middle two and we add them together. So 7 plus 5 is going to give us 12x. And then we can write our standard format going this direction. So we have x squared plus 12x plus 35. So what we're going to do is we're going to do the exact opposite on this side. So we're going to first take the information we are given here and plug it into what we know. Right? So our x squared is in our top left corner. And then we know that these middle two together are added, right? So we have this over here, which is our 12x. So we're going to put our 10x off to the side. And then our 21 goes in this bottom right corner here. Right? So this is all the information that we know. So what we need to do is we need to find what goes in these two boxes, right? So when we box them together, it is two numbers that are going to add together to give me 10. And they're going to multiply together to give me 21. Because if we take a look at this one, these two add together to give me 12. And they multiply together to give me 35. So what is going to add together to give me 10? So let's do some options that are going to give me 10. So we can do 5 plus 5. We can do 4 plus 6. We can do 3 plus 7. We can do 9 plus 1. And all of these are going to give me 10. Right? But can these multiply together to give me 10 or to give me 21? Well, let's find out. So 9, let's grab a different. 9 times 1 is going to give us 9. No, that's not 21. So that one doesn't work. So 5 times 5 is going to give me 25. Well, that's not going to work either. 4 times 6 is going to give me 24. It's still not 21. 7 times 3 gives me 21. So we can now plug these numbers into here. So we can do 3x on one side, 7x on the other. And then we can write, so we have what times what is going to give us x squared. X times x is going to give us x squared. And what times x is going to give us 3x. So we have a positive 3 up here. And then what times x is going to give me 7x. Positive 7. And we now have our factored form. So we can take our two brackets, so x plus 3 and x plus 7. And we now have our factored form. You can also do it in like a table of values to find this part here. So we can, doing it this way, we are looking at adding first. So doing it this way, we are going to find what multiplies. So what the heck multiplies together to give me 21? Right, we can do 1 and 21, and then we can do 3 and 7. And so we instantly know that 3 and 7 are going to give us 10 as well. So then that's when we would plug those that information in there. So let's practice some together. No, I'll put that on that side. So we have our equation here, and the information we know is that we can plug this and this already into our square. So x squared goes here, and 5 goes here. And then we know that this number goes out on the right side here, because these two added together is going to give me 6, right? So we can do the additional way. So what two things added together are going to give me 6? So let's do the options. 3 plus 3 is going to give me 6. We can do 2 plus 4 is going to give me 6. We can do 5 plus 1 is going to give me 6. Okay, so we have all our options there. We can do 6 plus 0. It is going to give me 6. Now, which one of these multiplied is going to give me 5, right? So we're looking for two things that add to 6 and multiply to 5. So let's take a look. Does 3 times 3 give me 5? Nope. 3 times 3 gives me 9. Doesn't work. 2 times 4, is it going to give me 5? Nope. 2 times 4 is going to give me 8. 5 times 1 going to give me 5? It sure is. So those are our winning numbers. So we can then input those into here, where we have 5x and 1x, because we can see that 5x plus 1x is going to give me 6, and 5 times 1 is going to give me 5. So again, we could have done it in the T format. So multiples of 5, we can have 1 and 5, and that's, yep. So we know that those are our key numbers. So then we have 1 and 5 because they add to 6 and they multiply to 5. And then we can take them out of the square. So we have, grab a different color. So we can take x and x outside of the square, and we can take positive 5 and positive 1 outside of the square. So our factors are x plus 1 and x plus 5. So let's take a look at another one. So we're going to input the information that we know already. So we have our x squared here, and we have our 12 down here. And we know that this 8 goes out here, this 8x, I don't know why I'm about to write 12x, so our 8x goes out here. And so we have to find these two boxes. So let's do it the factored way first. So if I was to take a look at, or the multiplication way first. So what two things can multiply to get 8? Or sorry, multiply to get 12. What multiplies together to get 12? We have 3 and 4. This is where you can use your multiplication chart. So we have, what's going to give us 12? 3 and 4. Okay, so we've written that 3 and 4 are going to give us 12. Okay, what else? Well, we have 4 and 3. That's still going to give us 12. 2 and 6 is going to give us 12. 2 times 6 is going to give us 12. And 1 times 12 is going to give us 12. Okay, so we now have all of the things that are going to multiply together to give us 12. So what out of these ones is going to add together to give us 8? Well, let's try it. 3 plus 4, that's going to give us 7. So that doesn't work. 2 plus 6 is going to give us 8. So we now have our two winning numbers. So we're going to put this in here. So we have a 2x and a 6x. And then we can now pull these out, right? So we have x on this side, x on this side. And we have a 2 on that side, plus 2 because it's positive, and plus 6 on this side. So our brackets are x plus 2 and x plus 6. Okay? So we'll go through another one together. So plug in our information that we know. So x squared goes in there, negative 10 goes in that side, and we know that this is going to equal 3x. Okay, so numbers that are going to multiply together to give me negative 10, right? So multiply together to give me negative 10. We can do 1 and negative 10. We can do negative 1 and 10. We can do, what else gives us 10? 2 multiplied together, 5 and 2. So we can do 5 and negative 2. And we can do negative 5 and 2. So then when we look at these, if we add them together, are any of them added together going to give me positive 3? Well, 1 plus negative 10 is going to be negative 9. So that's not going to work. negative 1 plus 10 is going to give me positive 9. Still doesn't work. 5 times, or plus negative 2 is going to give me positive 3. So those are our two numbers. So we're going to plug these numbers into here. So we have 5x here and negative 2x here, right? Because these two numbers added together give me positive 3x, and these two numbers multiplied together give me negative 10x, or negative 10. So then we bring them outside here. So we have x and x, and we can pull minus 2 out of that side and positive 5 out of this side. And then we can rewrite them as x minus 2 is our 1, and x plus 5 is our second one. So we now have our factored form. Okay, so I want you guys to try and practice these ones. Actually, I'll do one more with you because these ones are negative. So let's go through another example together. So let's plug the information that we know. So these two are plugged into here and 20. And we know these two added together are going to give me negative 12x. Okay, so we now need to figure out what these two boxes are. So let's take a look at what two things can we multiply together to give me 20. Well, we can do 10 and 2. We can do 5 and 4. We can do, I think I should be able to know this by now. We did 5 and 4. And we did 10 and 2. And that's pretty much the extent of it. So now, do either of these added together, are they going to give me a negative 12? Well, no, because they're all positive numbers. Okay, well, what if we add a negative sign in front, right? Because negative 10 times negative 2 is going to give me a positive number, right? So does this equal negative 12? Yeah, it does. So we can use these two and plug them into this box over here. So we have negative 10x and negative 2x. And then we can pull them out. We can pull everything outside of the box. So we have an x and an x, because x times x gives us x squared. We can pull the negative 2 out on this side and the negative 10 out on that side. And we now have our factors. So x minus 10 and x minus 2. So remember, when we're looking for multiples, they can be negative numbers if it like multiplies to a positive number, right? Because negative times a negative is always a positive. So now give these two a try, and we are going to move on to some practice questions. So an area model. So what we're going to do is I'm going to grab actually the back of one of these sheets, and we're just going to practice another one. So we're going to practice using, we'll pick one of the middle ones. So we'll do x squared minus 12x plus 20. Okay, so we have our question, and now what we're going to do is we want to know what it is in factored form. So we're going to draw our window, and we're going to plug the information in that we know. So we know that this one goes here. We know that this one goes here. was like, did we just do this one? No, we know that this one goes here. And we know that these two added together. Yes, we did. We did just do this one, so I lied. So we're gonna pick a different one. We're going to pick x squared plus 5x minus 24. All right, let's try this again. So we're going to do our window box. We're going to plug in the information we know. So we know that x squared goes here, and we know that negative 24 goes down here. And then we know that these two added together, these two boxes added together are going to give me 5x. So then we need to look for some, we can do our table of values. So what two things multiplied together are going to give me 24 or negative 24? So we can do negative 1 and 24. We can do negative 24 and 1. We can do 2 and negative 12. We can do negative 2 and 12. We can do 3 and negative 8. Or we can do negative 3 and positive 8. Or we can do 4, negative 6, negative 6 and, sorry, positive 6 and 4. Okay, we've done enough. Let's see if any of these add together to give me 5. Do these ones added together give me 5? No, that gives me 23. You don't work. Do these two added together give me 5? Well, nope, it definitely does not. It gives me negative 23. Do these two added together give me 5? No. This one gives me positive 10. No. This one gives me negative 5. Close, but no. This one gives me positive 5. Yeah. So what we're doing is we're looking for something that is going to multiply together. Two things that multiply together to give me negative 24. Two things that add together to give me 5. Okay, so that's all we're doing with this here. And so then we're going to take these numbers that we just found and plug them in here. 3x. Don't forget to write the x afterwards, okay? Because they have to equal 5x. So we have negative 3 and we have 8x. And then we can pull these out of the window. So we'll start here and we can do x and x. And then we can pull this out of the window. That's negative 3. Pull this out of the window and it's positive 8. And then we can write our factors because our factors are these. So lovely, I know. So x minus 3 and x plus 8. Perfect. So I'm going to get you guys to practice some more on your own. And then I have some individual practice for you guys to go through. So again, we'll do another practice question. I know it's a lot of practice questions, but I want to make sure that you guys understand it. So let's pick the first one. We put the information that we know, x squared, and sorry, that's just an email, x squared, and then 7 comes down here. We get that these things equal 8x together. So now we need to figure out what added together is going to give me 8 and what multiplied together is going to give me 7. So if we're going to do it finding what is multiplied together, let's go, what two things multiply together to give me 7? Well, 1 and 7. We can do negative 1 and negative 7 too, but we don't really need to do that right now, not for this one. So do these two added together give me 8? Yep, they sure do. So we can put our 1x and our 7x in here. And then we can pull everything out of the window. So we have an x and an x because x times x gives us x squared. And we can pull the 7 out of the window because x times 7 gives us 7x. And we can pull this positive 1 out of the window. And we now have our factors. So our factors are x plus 7 and x plus 1. Okay? So I want you guys to practice, practice, practice.